I told y'all. Yeah, man, I told y'all. I told y'all it didn't make sense for Keith Thurman to come out of nowhere. I mean, out of left damn field to be challenging Tszyu for the WBO scrap. It didn't make any sense. We got a news update. Let's talk about it. What up, YouTube? Big Tszyu Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. If you don't get your big goofy ass in here and hit the bag, hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. You know I appreciate that love. Shout out my gang, my bag hitters. Y'all know the count. Big shout out to Tyree Celestine, the only nigga that leaves your boy a super thanks. My guy Mark went out there in Australia running around with a Heavy Bag Boxing TV t-shirt, man. I appreciate that love from y'all. Now, yesterday we got hit with some news. I know it shocked me. It shocked a lot of the boxing world when we heard the Keith Thurman or Tszyu versus Keith Thurman announcement being reported by ESPN, of course. And it appears that this is official. Tszyu versus Keith Thurman to kick off the PBC Amazon Prime Video marriage. But it threw me for a loop. I immediately went live to kind of vent my frustrations. And I just couldn't for the life of me understand how Keith Thurman could come out of left field and get a title shot versus a Tszyu. It just didn't make any damn sense. And now it's being reported that the WBO has declined to sanction. All right, they're not having it. You can't come and cut the line and get in and jump right into a title fight with Tszyu. Why? Because this is a 35-year-old Keith Thurman who hasn't been active. He isn't ranked in the top 15 at 54. He is for the WBO. He isn't ranked top 15 for the WBO at 47. He hasn't fought in 25 months. And listen, he's never even competed at 154 pounds.
Bats don't care about your feelings.
Right? And so, all of this being said, you're going to have a lot of fans just like me who's baffled and you know, going to make a mockery out of the sport when somebody could basically climb off the couch and jump in the ring and challenge somebody for a title shot. Now, as far as I know, I don't believe the mandatory for Tszyu is due. He just came off the big Brian Mendoza win, and he was looking at options. Well, a lot of us thought it was going to be Bud Crawford climbing between those ropes to see Tszyu. But like I told y'all, I think this is the last hurrah for a Keith Thurman. This is Al Heyman's way of rewarding Keith Thurman for what? I don't know. Maybe it's a last fight of a deal they might have had, but he had to put him in some type of position to get some publicity and a big fight. And I think this is what was his way of doing so, because again, Keith Thurman wasn't on anybody's radar, especially to be fighting for a title versus a Tszyu. Looks like the WBO them nipped that bullshit in the bud. But he still can, in fact, garner a lot of attention with this fight, because I think a lot of fans, whether a title was on the line or not, it's going to be interested in seeing
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
has left. Somebody who's been around the sport of boxing for a while, like myself and other older fight fans who can remember the heyday of Keith Thurman pre-2017 before the Danny Garcia fight, because he just quite wasn't the same after that Danny Garcia fight. But we remember the one time. We remember how special we thought Keith Thurman was.
What the
and he
hell
did
did you
go on
say?
to unify with the WBC and the WBA. And it was a time where you could argue that he was the best welterweight in the sport of boxing. But you fast forward several years to the day, he's Mr. Irrelevant. He's Mr. Inactivity. And now I think for the sake of Al Heyman's relationship with Keith Thurman, he's giving him a gimme. If you can take care of this task, then we can talk further. But if you lose to Tszyu, then into obscurity you go. This fight will be taking place at a catchweight of 155.
What the hell
meaning
did
no
you
title
say?
is on the line. Tszyu, win, lose, or draw, remains the 54-pound champion. And it's just now basically for pride and ego for both fighters. That's always been the situation, in my opinion, for most of the catchweights. But if Keith Thurman can have a good showcasing and maybe even beat Tszyu, I highly, seriously doubt it. But if he did, there could be some type of resurgence in the career of Keith Thurman. But that's if he wanted to continue to keep fighting and at least fight once a year. You know what I mean? We would have to at least see him once a year, right? Being it as it may, he's only fought 3 times in the last 7 years. That's crazy. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section, man. The WBO not having it. Tszyu will not have his title on the line. This will be a catchweight fight for Tszyu and Keith Thurman. I'm intrigued, to say the least, because again, I can't remember when Keith Thurman was the guy. I think even at 35, maybe he has something in the tank. Maybe he can show flashes. The footwork of Keith Thurman was always good enough to give anybody real trouble, but I just don't see him beating Tszyu. I like Tszyu in this fight, and Keith, everybody knows, he's weak to the body. I think he maybe even gets him out of there with a body shot. But let's keep in mind, this is somebody who's only lost to a legend in Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman, 30-1 with that one lonely loss, coming to Manny Pacquiao with 22 wins by knockout. A stellar career up until it wasn't. But if we can get some flashes of the old Keith Thurman, this could very well be an interesting fight. And if for nothing else, maybe Tszyu goes out here and just completely washes him. Again, he gets a little bit of popularity with the older fans like myself, who may not have been paying attention to Tszyu. He'll be a little bit more appealing to them. He gets a notable name and on a resume along with a former world champion. So there is a little bit of an upside for Tszyu. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. That's all I got for y'all on this one. Big Tszyu, heavy bag in studio. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Y'all make sure you go sub to my man Heavy Bag Boxing, man.
Get your dumb ass in, hit this bag.
The Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Y'all just go ahead and subscribe to Heavy Bag Boxing TV, because he be lit on his channel.
And Heavy Bag Boxing.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Yo, shout out to Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.